That's where I consume, information, videos more than anywhere else, more than Netflix, more than Amazon, more than Pornhub is YouTube. I don't even go to Pornhub. I don't know why I threw that in there. I thought it would be funny.
Everyone who watched the stream knows you go to X Hamster.
Oh, Jesus. Not even. But anyway, we have a video here from Swastikam. This showed up at my doorstep. This showed up on my YouTube doorstep. It just showed up. And I was like, oh, that looks interesting. As someone who does what I do, or what we do, I always have to ask myself, is this something I can just watch, or do I do this in a reaction video? I thought, why not do it in a reaction video? So if you haven't already, subscribe to Swastikam if you like the content that we're about to react to.
Yes,
if you like it,
support.
Give the original video an upvote and give them a subscribe. It says here, the anecdotes in the video are real incidences from my life. I've faced racism in the past, but yes, people are changing now, and so are their mindsets. The video is titled When a Dark-Skinned Indian Visits Abroad. And dark-skinned Indian is all capital letters. We've done a number of videos kind of talking about this topic.
Yeah.
Lightly. We haven't dove into it, but they're we have some videos that kind of go into it, like girls who deal with that racism, I guess you could say. It's not racism.
It's the stigma of being darker skinned, and I feel like that happens a lot in India. It happens a lot in Asia.
I think it happens all over the world.
Yeah.
I think it happens in Mexico.
Yeah. So many places around the world, and it's so funny because it's the Caucasians are trying to get tanned. Right. Meanwhile, the Asians and the Latin Americans and other people are all like, no, let me just stay out of the sun so I can be fair.
Everybody just wants to be Jaby Koay is what it is. Because no, let me make my argument.
Okay.
Because I'm darker than you,
that's
right? Mm-hmm. But I'm lighter than someone who's considered dark skinned.
Yes.
Right? I'm that middle point, and people like Achara are trying to get to my skin tone.
Well, because I glow in the dark.
And people who are darker that have that white complex are trying to get to my skin tone.
Yeah. I'm fine with my skin tone.
No, you're not. You are such a liar. You are always making fun of it.
Only on camera, right? If I didn't put on color, bronzer or whatever, I would literally look like a blob. Kind of like the lady in the animation here, where she's just this white thing with eyes and a mouth. That's kind of what I look like when I wake up in the morning.
All right.
Indians racist होते हैं, सब नहीं, लेकिन आधे से ज़्यादा लोग racist हैं, और इन racist में भी types हैं. Are you African? Yeah.
What?
What the hell?
Oi, 2 plate momos लगा.
I didn't get that.
Oh, because they thought they were northeastern.
No, that's what I thought, but why should she serve them?
तू धूप में बहुत घूमती है क्या? मेरी बात सुन. हर रोज एक बनाना और हनी मिक्स करके अपने फेस पे लगा दे. बनाना में विटामिन ई और विटामिन सी के वजह से अपनी फेस ग्लो होती है. और हनी इज अ नेचुरल मॉइस्चराइजर बेबी. ब्ला 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 ब्ला. मैं महाराष्ट्र हूँ और मेरी स्किन डार्क है. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं इस चीज की आउटराइट विक्टिम हूँ, पर मोस्ट ऑफ द रेसिज्म मैंने एक्सपीरियंस की है वो 2nd और 3rd कैटेगरी की है. 5th ग्रेड में मैंने स्कूल चेंज किया था और मेरी न्यू स्कूल की क्लास टीचर इंग्लिश सिखाती थी. इंग्लिश को सब बोलती थी. मैम, आई एम सो सॉरी इफ यू आर वाचिंग दिस राइट नाउ. आई एम जस्ट किडिंग. वो हर बार पर्सनली आके मेरे डाउट सॉल्व करती थी और मुझे एग्जाम्स में जितने भी मार्क्स मिलते थे उसके लिए हमेशा अप्रिशिएट करती थी. शी वाज सो नाइस. पर 8th ग्रेड में उसके लेक्चर में किसी ने होमवर्क नहीं किया था, तब वो मेरा एग्जाम्पल देने लगी. You children will never improve. Look at Disa. She studies so hard. Do you know how hard it is to learn English in just 1 year? She's from Kannada medium. तीन साल उसने अज्यूम कर लिया कि मैं कन्नड़ा मीडियम से हूँ. और स्पेसिफिक कन्नड़ा मीडियम ही क्यों? जब मैं छोटी थी तब मैं और मेरी फैमिली वेकेशन में साउथ इंडिया गए थे और हम लोग भी एक अच्छे होटल में स्विमिंग पूल में एंजॉय कर रहे थे. तभी एक पूरा लड़कों का झुंड मुझे देख के स्माइल कर रहा था। ये हरकत ना बहुत एडल्ट्स करते हैं, बच्चों को देख के स्माइल करना। Dude, she's staring at me since 5 minutes. Get used to it. Next day मैं स्विमिंग करने अकेली गई and guess what? वो लोग भी थे इस बार।
Oh God.
वो लोग मेरी तरफ आए और
God, this is terrifying.
ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಏನು?
ओके, ये मेरे साथ आई कांटेक्ट करके बात कर रहा है, मतलब ये मुझसे बात कर रहा है।
ನಿನ್ನ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಏನು?
He thinks I'm South Indian. मुझे याद है, मैंने उस बार स्टेप लिया, पर पीछे मैं वहां से भाग गई। स्कूल के एनुअल फंक्शन के डांस परफॉर्मेंस में मुझे कभी फर्स्ट लाइन में नहीं रखा। माइथोलॉजिकल सीरीज में मैंने कभी ऐसा नहीं देखा कि भगवान काले हैं और राक्षस स्नो वाइट। शादी में अगर दुल्हन गोरी नहीं है तो अच्छी नहीं है। मेरे फ्रेंड्स को लगता था मेरे घर पे फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स है और ऐसे बहुत इंसिडेंट्स है, पर मुझे ये वीडियो ज्यादा लंबी नहीं करनी है। YouTube पे भी हम उसे रेसिज्म नहीं बोल सकते, पर लोग जितना फेयर स्किन को क्रेव करते हैं ना, वो दिख जाता है। Get fair skin in one day? मैं अब भी कर रही है ये चीज, मैं अब भी जाके कर रही है मैं चीज। One day.
Alright, I can see that I will have to teach you how to
whiten and brighten your skin.
Oh yeah.
कंटेनर में थोड़ा सा मिल्क लीजिए, अपने फेस में जेंटली सर्कुलर मोशन में मसाज कीजिए।
इसमें इम्प्यूरिटीज और ऑयल को रिमूव करने की क्षमता है विद द हेल्प ऑफ फैट सोल्यूबल एंजाइम ग्लिकोसिल।
जब भी मुझे कोई कॉम्प्लीमेंट देता है ना, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम लोग बोलते हैं तेरी स्किन विदेश होकर भी तो अच्छी दिखती है।
What?
Bitch. पर जब मैं फर्स्ट टाइम अब्रॉड गई तब मुझे कुछ अलग ही कॉम्प्लीमेंट मिला। You have such an exotic skin tone. I want just like yours. मैं थैंक यू बोलना भी भूल गई। मुझे ऐसा कॉम्प्लीमेंट लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम मिला था। मैं बस उसे शौक में घूरती रही। I shouldn't have said that. और फिर वो चला गया। और थोड़े महीने पहले जब मैं दुबई में थी, तभी कोई टूरिस्ट स्पॉट पे कोई शो चल रहा था और उसका डायरेक्टर ऑडियंस में से वॉलंटियर्स चूज करते वक्त बोला, I want a beautiful girl that can volunteer. और फिर he pointed out at me. Okay, come on. उसने तुझे सिर्फ स्टेज पे बुलाया है, जा, लेकिन चलते वक्त गिरना नहीं है। क्या? गिरना नहीं है। एक कंट्री जिसकी मेजॉरिटी ब्राउन है, फिर भी ब्राउन स्किन को एबनॉर्मल मानते हैं। सब लोगों को अपने बच्चे दूध और चावल आटे जितने सफेद चाहिए, और कुछ बटहर्ट्स मानते हैं कि इंडिया में रेसिज्म ऐसी कोई चीज ही नहीं है।
4 separate incidents, victims are attacked with cricket bats, sharp planks of wood and stone. Is that a minor scuffle or racism? Physical assault is so brutal that the victims are left with visible and deep injury marks. Is that a scuffle? The victims are beaten with sticks, bricks and even iron rods.
Sir, one question. There are many foreigners who go to beaches to get tanned. Does that mean they are discriminating against their own white skin? Let us not trivialize that.
अब ना मुझे लोगों की रेसिस्ट मेंटालिटी से गुस्सा नहीं आता। समझ जाओ कि वो लोग इतने पढ़े लिखे नहीं है। अब जब भी मेरी फैमिली, फ्रेंड्स या फिर कोई भी मेरी स्किन टोन को लेके मुझे चिढ़ाता है, तो मैं वहां से भाग नहीं जाती। I just go like, हाँ, दुबई में एक लड़के ने मुझे सबके सामने 2 बार ब्यूटीफुल बोला था।
It's so interesting that the word racism is used to describe this problem.
I wouldn't say that in this case, that it's racism. Is that what you're trying to get to?
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted. I'm sorry.
To me, I would have just used a different word like skinism or tonism, colorism, but colorism even sounds a little, I don't know. It's like, it's not a race thing because it's not, you're not dealing with different ethnicities, right? You're dealing with all the same ethnicity. It's just different parts of the palette, you know?
Yeah, it's like just different colors.
Different tones.
Different tones, different skin tones,
And so I like the approach that she took in telling her story. It didn't go as dark as I was expecting it to, which is probably for the best. I'm glad that maybe these were the worst of her experiences.
I think she had more, but I think she was trying to keep it short and make it funny, which she succeeded in doing.
It's crazy. I don't even know what to say. Like, that's just, it sucks. That's ultimately what it comes down to, is it just sucks. And your experiences are different everywhere you go. Like she said, she went to, she go to the States, and then like some random white dude was like, I wish I had your skin tone.
Yeah,
or
it's so
like
exotic. And then in Dubai, at this tourist spot, this guy said that she was a beautiful girl.
I think that a lot of people, and I'm not saying this because I'm half white. It's like white people don't look at me like I'm white. White people look at me like I'm something else. I have some empathy for white people who get a bad rap for using the word exotic. The thing is, like, a lot of white people have this complex that they're just boring. I've asked a lot of Caucasians, like, what is your ethnicity? They go, just boring white. I'm like, no, that's not an ethnicity. Yeah, that's not a thing. You have ancestry.
Like what are you, English,
so you could be Scottish, Irish, whatever. There's a whole litany of things. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could be. I'm curious about it. Like, what makes you this composition that is you? Just to speak to that experience you had where the guy said, you look exotic. That's just a catch-all word for, I'm boring and I wish I was more interesting like you.
Yeah.
But it comes off as this ignorant thing, like you're looking at them like I don't know.
Well, I mean, you could take it either way. I know some people might be offended at being called exotic, but I think if you just take it like the way you said, which is, they're just fascinated because you're different, I think
in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, generally.
Generally, if someone uses the term exotic and they're talking about you, it's usually a positive thing. It's just so interesting, isn't it, that we always want what we can't have. Like, she makes a good point that the majority of people in India are brown, and yet they act like being this way is so weird, like that's wrong. And it's not. I think attitudes are changing. I think people, women especially, we're kind of coming around to this idea that actually it's okay to be different. It's okay to look different. Whatever is represented in media and in magazines, I think more and more people are becoming savvy and understanding that it's not really real. Like the models and people that you see in magazines, they're almost like freaks of nature. Like, not everyone looks that good, and you don't have to look like that to be good looking. You know what I mean? Like, you can revel in the beauty of your gorgeous brown skin, and equally you can revel in the beauty of your fair skin and everything in between.
3 saal.
3 saal. That's what I'm gonna find. That's 3 saal. 3 years.
3 saal.
Well, 3 means 3, right?
Correct.
Sal. I didn't know sal meant years.
Yes.
3 saal. Okay, just wanted to remember that. That's all.
Okay, that's it.
Came back to that. Like, she kept saying it over and over again. I'm like, oh, that's a short thing I can try to remember. 3 saal.
On a slightly related but kind of unrelated note, I was reading this thing a friend of mine had posted on Instagram about how women and young girls have become so used to applying filters on their pictures in Instagram, like to get a certain look, to make your face shape a different way, to have bigger eyes, to have bigger lips, that nowadays, a lot of girls don't actually feel confident to take a selfie and just put out their normal selfie just as is without putting a filter on it. I thought about it myself and I was like, oh, actually, I kind of relate, because sometimes I'll take a selfie of myself and I'm like, I don't like the way my skin looks in this. I want to change it or something. And I think it's just kind of sucky that we've been made to feel like this certain thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this other thing, like just the way you are normally, is not.
Sure, I don't put too much stock in that though. And the reason why is because selfies have not been around that long. Photography hasn't been around that long. It's only been around for what, 150, 170 years, maybe? We were on film for most of our photography history. Digital photography is only introduced in the last, 25 years, or 30 years or so? I don't know. And so the ability to like flip the camera on yourself and actually look at yourself and upload that to the internet hasn't been around that long. I get what you're saying. I feel like there's something has always been out there to impact how we view ourselves, and we're always trying to look like that thing over there.
Well, it's money as well, isn't it? Because there's a huge industry around like beauty, like makeup and skin creams and whatever. So they feed into your insecurities. So you're like, I need to buy this cream so that I can have lighter skin or whatever.
Like when Jennifer Aniston had the do that she had.
Yeah, the haircut.
Everybody wanted that, or they weren't good enough. Every girl wanted that haircut.
I think I wanted it at one point too.
And so, but it's like, so there's always something to impact the way you look at yourself. It's just different. Now it's just closer to you, and it's just you in an app that's impacting it now. But like something's always gonna impact how you see yourself. I don't put too much stock into that. I'm more concerned with the influence of just society and people and whatnot, and how this infectious thing that just goes around and everyone thinks it's okay to like slam people for being dark. It's like, but that's not even, there's nothing wrong.
Or to just assume things about people without asking questions. You know, like the thing that she was saying in the beginning about, I don't know how to say this in a politically correct manner, so excuse me if I offend anyone, but in the thing in the beginning where they had the kid that looked, I suppose, more Northeastern or Chinese, and then the people were like, give us more momos, you know. It's that sort of thing that annoys me, where people just assume things about you without asking questions. Like, I don't mind if you look at me and the first thing you think is, oh, are you Asian? Like, are you Chinese? Are you Japanese? Like, I don't mind that, but I would prefer it if you just like flat out asked me, oh, what's your ethnic background? Or are you mixed? Where are you from?
But your preferences are different from other people's
Rather
preferences.
than having someone go up to me and go, ching chong China lady, you know, I'm not into that.
Hold on. When you say ching chong China lady, are you saying like...
Or like ni hao, and I'm like, that's rude, I'm not Chinese.
But is it a white person saying it, or is it someone who's a Mandarin speaker saying it?
Oh, a white person. If it was a Mandarin person, I would just be like,
because like she was talking about how, you know, these South Indians came up to her and started speaking in their native tongue, and she's like, I have no idea what you're saying.
That I don't mind as much. It's when it's like, I don't know, like white people or whatever make these assumptions about me because of the way I look, and they don't bother to ask. When it's like, I speak English too, so you can just ask me. I'll be happy to tell you where I'm from.
Right, but the thing about it is there's a lot, see, that's cool that you're open-minded like that, but there's a lot of people who take offense at the question, what is your ethnicity? I've watched it happen.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and the funniest thing is, like, I got to ask the question. Then 10 minutes later, a white dude asked the question, and she got mad. It's because I'm,
because you're mixed.
Yeah, because I'm mixed, so I can get away with it. It was an interesting experience, to say the least. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. We're talking about this video here. I wanted to comment on the animation style. I thought that it was interesting that everyone's just rotund.
I like it, it's cute.
Yeah, everyone just looks like a potato or an onion.
I wonder if that's
colors.
just easier to animate.
It's just a style. It's a stylistic choice. I'm glad she went for it because it makes it stand apart from other things that you see.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool. I would love for her to do more of these kinds of videos and dive into more of her experiences, because it feels like there was a lot left on the table. I felt like there was a lot left to be desired in terms of like what she was gonna, because I was especially reading the description.
Oh.
I was fully expecting this to go a lot more intense, I guess you could say. It just didn't. I was like, oh, I feel like I've experienced more racism than that. I just was expecting more, and like, I want to hear more of her anecdotes. And I like the animation style, it's cute enough.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that this was attacking is the fair skin obsession with videos and products and stuff like that, which I totally understand her interest in demolishing that. That's fair.
It just makes everyone feel bad.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
We can all be beautiful.
I'm slightly of two minds about this, and please bear with me when I say it. The thing about it is, and this could be informed by anything, there are people who are dark skinned and would prefer to be lighter skinned, and it may have nothing to do with conditioning. They just may desire that, just like you have people that desire to be thinner or more muscular. It might not be that far from that. I personally wouldn't advocate for that, but I respect your freedom to think how you want to think. Am I making any kind of sense? It's like, okay, for instance, you would like to be darker sometimes, so you go in the sun and you get tanned. I'm not gonna be mad at you and be like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you just, love your skin for what it is? So it's just the inverse. The thing about it is, it depends on what is informing what. If tonism or colorism is informing the compulsion for watching these videos of how to lighten your skin and it's your family who's like attacking you and going, oh, you're dark, you're terrible. If that's what's informing you, then that's messed up. If you're just a normal individual, not impacted by that sort of thinking, and you just have an interest in lightening your skin tone because I get it. Like, I personally prefer my skin tone to look lighter. I don't know if that has anything to do with white people or anything. I just prefer how I look when I'm lighter, and so I stay out of the sun most of the time.
Sure, but I think the danger with saying something like that is sometimes, or many times, with people who have more pigmentation in their skin and are darker, oftentimes there's not really much you can do. Do you know what I mean?
Michael Jackson found a way.
Well, he also, I think he suffered from vitiligo.
I don't think
which
so.
Which is a whole thing.
I don't think so. I think that was bullshit, honestly. I don't think he suffered from anything. I think he made his skin lighter, honestly.
Okay, but all I'm saying is, it's like, if I go in the sun, I can get a few shades darker. If I stay indoors like I have been for the last few years, I'll look like this. But I think if you're naturally like darker skinned, even if you stayed indoors all the time, I don't think you would get that much drastically lighter. You'd probably get much darker if you went out in the sun because you're like genetically built to withstand the sun, whereas I am genetically built to burn and wither in
What are you driving
in the
at?
sun. What I'm driving at is dangerous to kind of be like, if you want to, you can change that. I feel like it's something that you can't really change without
I don't know.
having a shit ton of
I'm
money
not a
like
scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a dermatologist. So I don't know shit about it. There's obviously a market out there. I'm just attacking what informs your decision to approach that stuff.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
like for instance, if you wanted to drink alcohol, like, and you're of legal age, and you just want to, okay, fine. But if you're doing it because of peer pressure, that's messed up, and you shouldn't do it. What I'm saying is, if there's peer pressure influencing your decision to want to learn about that stuff and see if it works on you, that's garbage. But if you just have a preference and you'd like to see if you can do something, not influenced by all that, which is a very small likelihood. It's a very unlikely thing. Then whatever.
I get it. I guess it's like the same argument for plastic surgery or anything like that. It's like, if you want to do it because you really want to do it and it's gonna like improve your mental health as well, then that's fine. The thing that worries me about, this feeling of not feeling good enough because society says you're not good enough if your skin is a certain color or if you don't look a certain way, is that it really impacts your self-esteem and it makes you feel really shitty. I'm just like, yeah, maybe let's find a way to kind of not do that.
Eventually, all of this is going to be one big stupid joke because we're all going to be comprised of nanobots where we can change our skin tone on the fly.
That. I'll be blue, thank you.
Yeah, we can change our your boob size, your pec size. All of this exercising nonsense is going to be meaningless, and we're all just going to be part robot. So, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully, you enjoyed some of that, and check out Achara Kirk on the social media and her YouTube channel, youtube.com/Achara, and Jaby Live. That's the thing. And subscribe to this as well, Swastikam, if you enjoyed the video, like I said earlier, and give the original video an upvote, please. And that's it for now. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.